Stephen Fenech from Tech Guide here, and today we're reviewing the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now, we've been using this for a few weeks, and I have to say, this is the type of device for that customer where the phone is the center of their life. Whether you're working, multitasking, creating content, viewing content, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is built for that type of customer. Now, this time out, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is made from stronger material. It's made out of higher grade aluminium, both on the edges and on the hinge. It also is water resistant, so that's another improvement from the previous model. And of course, the big inside screen is now compatible with S Pen, which will appeal to a lot of customers as well. We're going to dive in now and take a look at all the features that will appeal to the Galaxy Z Fold 3 customer. Now let's talk design. The Galaxy Z Fold 3, pretty much the same design as the previous model. So you've got this front screen and the larger inside screen. Now, the front screen is okay for viewing your notifications, maybe typing out the odd email or message, seeing your notifications, having access to your apps. But it's only when you really open the device up is when you can then access this much larger display. Just on the front display though, it is smaller than a regular smartphone. I would have loved to have seen the Galaxy Z Fold front screen equal the size of a regular smartphone. It would allow you to get a lot more done on the phone without having to open it up. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, but the worst of both worlds, because the front screen doesn't quite crack it in terms of being as big and useful as a regular smartphone screen. But then when you're using the inside screen, the larger screen, it does have this odd aspect ratio. For certain apps, they don't quite fit properly. Of course, when you're viewing your content, that's a totally different story. But it's either a smaller screen or a much larger screen. So if they would have included a larger front screen, almost the same width as a regular smartphone, that would have benefited in two ways. One, bigger front screen, but two, that bigger front screen would have created a bigger inside screen as well. So both halves of the phone would have been larger. I would have loved to have seen that. Now, I did say that this is for the type of customer where their phone is everything. And it is a big commitment to have a device like the Galaxy Z Fold 3. That might sound strange, but this is a lot of device to handle. Your front screen, your inside screen, it's a little bit bigger and thicker and heavier than a regular smartphone as well. So it's not as easy and as portable as other regular smartphones. It is a bit thicker, as I said, and it does require a little bit more work. You need to sometimes getting stuff done on the front screen. Because of its size, you really need to stop and open up the device to complete a task or to look at a document or other things like that. So in terms of the typical user for this device, I'd say you're a high-end user. Well, the pricing puts it at that high end anyway. It's $2,500 Australian dollars. So if you're spending that type of money, I'm assuming that you are a high-end user anyway. But this device, I think if it's just videos you like to watch, or if it's just to create content in an easier way, I don't think that's enough. I think that you need to be doing more with the device to justify having this sort of product. So multitasking, creating content, viewing content, that's the sort of customer you are. You're a high-end customer using a high-end device. One of the strongest features of the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is multitasking, and that's where that larger inside screen comes into play. So you can run more than one app, of course, at the same time. You can run up to 3 apps at the same time inside. So you might have maybe your social media open, maybe your calendar, maybe the Note app, or a browser. So it does allow you to see more at one time or do more at one time. So you can easily split that screen and also rotate the app. So you press in the middle of the screen, it'll shift the apps to a different section of the screen. So they wind clockwise around the screen if you do need to shift it around. For example, you might have the browser in one of the smaller windows. You can actually send it around to one of the larger windows in case you need a little bit more room to move, or there might be a document you're viewing. So it does give you that kind of flexibility. Now, I know One of the best uses for the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is viewing content, especially video content. I can't wait for the day where we're traveling again, and this would be the device that I take along with me instead of having to carry a phone and a tablet at the same time. This could be the one and only product that I need. So it's a phone when I need it, and it's a tablet when I need it. But when you're viewing video on the device, depending on the aspect ratio of what you're watching, the size of the actual video on the screen, so that it creates like a letterbox effect. So the size of the video that you're watching on the screen isn't too much different from a regular smartphone. So what we did, we put the Galaxy Z Fold 3 right beside the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and played the exact same video. And you'll notice that the video playing on the Z Flip 3, the actual video content is roughly about the same size as what you're finding on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. If there are different aspect ratios, of course, it'll take up more of that inside screen. But there is that slight difference there where the aspect, so the wider aspect ratio, the actual video size of the video you're viewing on the Z Fold screen is about the same size as you would watch it on a regular size screen, whether it's a Z Flip 3 or an iPhone. So something to keep in mind for those content viewers, that yes, it is a larger screen, and for some content, it's fantastic. It takes up the entire screen. But when you're viewing movies and other videos, other content, it's not much bigger than what you would normally use. Now, of course, if you're viewing your photos, it's a spectacular display for that purpose too. Your videos look even better. But just in terms of content viewing, there is that is something to keep in mind, that if that's just the reason why you're buying it, to watch your movies on this big screen, you're going to get about the same kind of result on a regular size phone. Another thing to note about the larger inside screen is that it has this square shape, this square aspect ratio. So some apps, they don't really show you much more. They show you a bigger version of the app, but doesn't actually fit more content on the same screen. The Instagram app, for example, actually it letterboxes in the center of the screen so that it does maintain that shape. It doesn't go completely edge to edge on the large inside screen. So look at an Instagram on a regular phone, you're getting about the same result as you would on the Galaxy Z Fold. Other apps, like I've got my Tesla app that I use, and I look at on the Galaxy Z Fold, and I'm actually seeing less information at the same time than I would on a regular size phone. So it's not all apps have been created to work very well on that center screen. Many of them have. A lot of productivity apps like Word and all the Office suite of applications and many others work brilliantly on that inside screen. But there are some apps that just haven't been optimized for that larger display. One huge new improvement with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is the compatibility with the S Pen. Now the S Pen, there is nowhere in the device for you to insert the S Pen as you would on the Galaxy Note series where the S Pen comes from. So it would have been great to be able to slot the S Pen into the device. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There is the size of the Z Fold 3 is pretty similar to the Z Fold 2. So there's nowhere inside the device you can store the S Pen. For that, you need to buy a case. So here's a case that fits in the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and you'll notice there's a pocket on the outside where the Z Fold, the S Pen fits neatly inside. But that aside, that inconvenience aside, having the S Pen on a product like this, I think consolidates its appeal to that high-end customer. Having this large screen as your notepad is truly liberating for an S Pen user. Now, typically an S Pen user is generally a Galaxy Note user, but I would recommend any Note user, if there's any doubt in their mind of the experience the Galaxy Z Fold 3 will give them, I'll tell you now, I'm a big Note fan. This is a much better experience in terms of having this larger screen to use the S Pen with. So whether that's drawing, writing notes, a lot more space to take your notes, drawing, painting, whatever you like to do, the S Pen I think's unleashed on a device like this. Now, of course, there are cameras on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. There's actually a few cameras, including the inside camera that is actually an under-screen camera. You'll notice when the screen is open, the pixels actually form over the top of the punch so that you can't really see that the hole punch for the camera. When it's time to use the camera, of course, that hole punch does appear. But if photography is your main reason for buying a smartphone, then there are probably better choices than the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Yes, it takes decent photos, but it's nowhere near as capable as the Z21, for example, or I should say the Galaxy S21 Ultra, although the Galaxy S line of phones, their camera systems are designed with the best cameras that the company produces. These cameras are fine, but they're nowhere near as capable, as good. So the quality, you're not going to produce the same sort of quality as you would with the Galaxy S21. On the battery side, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 offers at least a day of battery life. I was finding when using this as my everyday phone, it would easily last the entire day and into the next. If you're using the inside screen more than normal, that has a bit of an effect on the battery as well. Of course, when the screen is closed, you're only powering the smaller front screen. But if you are using the inside screen more often, then that of course is going to burn through the battery even faster. But even with hours of use of the inside screen, it's still easily got us through an entire day. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 is in market this week. It's going to be priced at 2,500 Australian dollars. And as we said, this is the sort of device for that customer where their smartphone is everything to them, can do everything for them, and the Z Fold 3 can do it like no other. If you want to read our complete review, check it out at techguide.com.au. Thanks for watching.